a Tesla and a Rolls Royce.
I don't listen. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I said, why is it always the niggas with the criminal history going to school for criminal justice?
Because
Always,
they have a passion for
always.
it.
Every time I don't talk about Pastor Brian. I saw the video, but I honestly didn't watch it. But that's crazy that you found out that he has no license. Like that's wild. I
Yeah,
can't
I
believe he
even
got on
showed it.
live and said that thinking nobody would go check. That's like me saying I work in the private sector in computers.
Yeah,
Like people are gonna go look that up.
yeah. In
I'm
real
about
life,
to.
Mo is a Walmart greeter from 7:30. You know what, Kevin? I would be the best Walmart greeter ever. First of all, I wouldn't be able to work at Walmart because I can't stand Walmart, but
Wally
like
World.
I would blow that job out of the water. I would be like the best.
I would blow it out of the water.
Hey, was that you commenting from the
That was me.
Oh, I was like, who took over Soonie's thing? Because you were like, Mo, you look cute. And I was like, who is this?
Oh gosh.
Who is this person?
It's different when you watch it on your phone. It looks more official. The kids were watching it like, "This is your show?" And I was like, "Dang, are they shocked?"
It looks more official. What does it look like otherwise? Like on here you're talking
Well, it
about?
just looks like we're in a studio and there's a bunch of comments over here, and we don't really look at ourselves. Like we're not
Yeah.
looking at ourselves when we're doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. That's true.
So it's not like you can tell.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, well, I made good timing because I got through my first two topics. I had on there that I think you wanted to talk about the First Amendment. I have the active shooter situation up on here as well.
Yeah, man. We
So
got a lot
let
to talk about.
yeah. What did you want to talk about the active shooter and then like go into the First Amendment?
Yeah, we could do that. Why not?
Okay. Okay.
People are saying that I support white supremacy because I haven't talked about this shooter, and it's just like
We
number
don't.
one, another mass shooting in America. It's almost become desensitizing because
Yeah.
these things happen often, and I'm just like, I care more about the laws that are going to come after this event. Like, I'm
Nothing.
not saying I don't care about the event. I've already offered my condolences.
Yeah.
That's all I could do. But I'm more interested in the gun control that comes from this because there's going to be legislation that's passed down
Mhm.
to strip us even more of our gun rights. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I heard he's still at large.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know.
So, let me just read the latest on this situation. Um, this is from AP News. So, Maine officials lift shelter in place. So, I guess they had a shelter in place that they lifted while they still continue to search for the shooter. Authorities scoured the woods and hundreds of acres of family owned property. Dive teams sonar to the bottom of the river and scrutinized possible suicide note Friday. A possible suicide note Friday in the second day of their intensive search for the Army reservist accused of fatally shooting 18 people and wounding 13 at a bowling alley in Maine. It goes on to say, uh, let's see here. Police and other law enforcement officers were spotted in several areas around the region on Friday. Divers searched the water near a boat launch in Lisbon and a farming business in the same town. A gun was found in Card's car. That's his name, Robert Card, which was discovered at a boat ramp, and federal agents were testing it to determine if it was used in the shooting. The officials were not authorized to publicly discuss the details of the investigation, yada, yada, yada. They have not released any details. This is what I always think is funny is they've not released the details, but yet there's so many people out there that know so much, okay? They did find a suicide note at home associated with Card on Thursday that was addressed to his son. The law enforcement officials said they said didn't provide any specific motive for the shooting.
Hmm.
Authorities recovered his cell phone in the home, making a search more complicated because authorities routinely use the cell phone to track suspects. So this guy, obviously he's former military. This guy probably knows what he's doing. He probably knows how to evade, being found. Um,
Well, just an update. This just came out 12 minutes ago. They found him
oh,
dead. He killed
oh,
himself.
Oh,
So
okay. That's what I thought
he's
would
no
happen.
longer at large. He has
Yeah.
died. Um, and now the only thing we need to care about after this is the legislation that comes after this event.
Yes.
We will see Congress come together for some more gun control. I don't think it'll happen right away because this obviously wasn't a huge topic from what
Mhm.
I can see. There's more people still stuck on the war that's happening. But I
Right.
do think that they'll pass some sort of legislation in the next coming bills. I think they'll
Oh,
mix
yeah.
it in with some stuff.
Oh, for sure. For sure. What's up, Jock? My buddy Jock is on here. I haven't ever seen him on the show. Um, yeah, I mean, Kamala Harris has already came out. They're already using all the key, buzzwords about how gun control, yada, yada, yada. Yet nobody's talking about, what all the same issue with every one of these shooters has been mental health. Um, and obviously talking about red flag laws. Now,
Yeah.
we've talked about the red flag laws in the past, and I was listening actually to Tatum talking about it, and he was talking about red flag. I can't say this, red flag laws within reason, right? So I was like listening to see what the in reason part was, because he said a
Mhm.
lot of times people are not in favor of these things because they take it too far, and there's not very strict guidelines around how red flag laws get reported, and that you need hard evidence, right, to prove that this person is a danger to themselves or to others, not
Yeah.
just the fact that they vote a certain type of way. So we need to be worried that they have guns, which is how red flag laws have been used against people in the past.
Mhm.
And I do agree with that. I do agree with, if we're gonna, and this is the tough spot, right? Because then we're depending on government, local government, federal government, right, to like set these quote unquote really tight boundaries around things that they never really enforce.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do agree, because I've known somebody who was in a mental health situation and had red flag laws in their state and had their weapons taken away for good reason, because they were a danger to themselves. They said that they were a danger to themselves, and then they got them back when they were medically released. It was fine. But this guy was very mentally disturbed and had self-reported that he was hearing voices, that he was suicidal, all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I don't know. I take a hard stance on that.
Mhm.
I don't think any bureaucratic agencies should have that type of control. I mean, psychotic people kill every day. We
Mhm.
can't mitigate, like, we cannot mitigate. We can have deterrence. You're gonna go to jail if you shoot people. That's a deterrent that's out there. Police
Mhm.
officers might shoot you while you're in the process of a crime, but you can't mitigate things like this. That's legislating morality at that point,
Mhm.
and it's not the Minority Report. We don't know when someone's gonna go do something. He could have the example you gave, right? Let's just say he proved that he was able to have these guns, and then after the state gives it back, he decides to just go off and go AWOL and commit the crimes anyway. So
Mhm.
what it is, that really a it's not even it doesn't even operate as a deterrent if you really think about it. It's just more
Yeah.
control. Now they know who has weapons and where they are.
I mean, yeah, you can make the same argument for for any deterrent, whether it be the police can shoot you, you can go to jail. Like, granted, there's people that just don't care. There's people that do these things to get shot by the police because they want a, murder suicide type of situation. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
So there really truly is no deterrent to somebody being evil. I get that.
mhm.
Um, but I feel like when I was looking into a little bit about this particular case, that this guy had been to the VA, like he had recently self-reported and said, "Hey, there's some crazy thoughts coming across my brain, or my
Yeah.
mind," and that nobody really did anything. And even his mother, his family talked about how they knew that he wasn't quite right, which we've heard in other situations as well. It's concerning. It's concerning in those types of situations that those people are able to either newly obtain a weapon or keep the weapons that they have. It can be
Mm,
scary, living next to somebody, right? That is like that, or having that person in your family. I can't even imagine being married to somebody
yeah.
like that.
My uncle was schizophrenic. It
Mhm.
was a I was I was very young, but I do remember how stressful it was for my aunts because I don't really think no, their mother died when they were young, and my grandpa was just, like, not in the picture. So it's
Mhm.
stressful.
Yeah.
I remember being scared of him. He was always gentle, he never did anything, but he was visibly disturbed.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a it's a tough conversation, but America definitely has a mental health issue that's not
Oh, for
being
sure.
addressed.
For
They're
sure.
not addressing that at all. I think they closed down probably, like, back in I was a little kid when I heard this. We used to live next to a mental facility. It's called Stairways. We
Mhm.
live right next door to it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they were shutting these mental facilities down when I was a kid, and there would be all these crazy people just roaming. And I remember when we moved to North Carolina, crime started skyrocketing. So this is I had to be, like, at least 12 or 13 when they really just
Mhm.
started shutting these facilities down and not
Mhm.
even really caring. All the money I'm starting to remember so much, budget cuts, all these things that were happening in, like, the 2000s.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're seeing what we see now,
Mhm.
because there's no money going to those programs. They're not
Yeah.
actually helping these people now.
I was gonna say like I think Candace even did an episode. She was like, "We need to bring back insane asylums."
Yeah,
Like
I saw
they
that.
yeah, they used to be like you're right. Like they used to be kind of like a normal thing you would see in every town was like an insane
Mhm,
asylum and
mhm.
or some type of mental facility. And you're right, like you just don't hear about it anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Yeah.
That was like not that it was like a huge conversation, but that was normal to hear. "Oh, where did she go? I'll talk until she comes back." But that was a kind of a normal conversation to hear somebody went to the loony bin and they had to go get their self checked out. But we knew who they were. We knew the names of these places, but you don't see them anymore. Um, we have I think you meant one. I'm frozen, gonna refresh. Okay. She's gonna refresh, she'll be back. We have one in California in Napa. Okay. I think the only one that I know in I don't even know of them any in Charlotte anymore because I remember them closing them all down when I was a kid. Dorothy Dix, they close that one. There's another one called, Cherry. It's in Goldsboro on the way to Raleigh. They have a female facility. I can't remember what that's called, but they're all run down. You can tell there's no funding going there. You can tell there's, like, no actual real studies for these people to be trying to figure out what's wrong. They throw medicine at the situation. I agree with you. Who said that? Judy. That's because they were creating all the mind control drugs. Yeah. We throw medicine and money at issues. Um, I was watching Bob Woodson on the Patrick Bet David podcast. It's a really good episode. You guys should go watch it. I sent it to Auntie Red. I wanted to get her perspective on it. Um, one thing that he said that stood out when Patrick asked him, "Why do you think?" He asked him something about the black community. I'm not going to quote it word for word, so you guys should go watch it. But it was along the lines of, "Why do you think the black community is in the state that it's in now?" And he said, "Because they don't market faith." And he was talking about both sides, not marketing faith to people and in humanity. We throw money, we throw drugs, we throw um, participation trophies at the issues, but there's nobody really instilling faith to where you have someone to answer to, you have someone to be accountable to, beholden to, and you also have goals you can achieve. And they're not actually entering these neighborhoods, these places that they often complain about and talk about. They're not offering solutions. They're just let's just create a program, throw some money at it, and you can sign up to get benefits, but we're not really going to help you. That's how I look at it. So these instances of school shootings, mass shootings in America, I don't know why anybody's surprised anymore. I really don't. Oh, you're
Yeah,
back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry, my
It's sad
stuff.
though.
It is sad. So
Yes.
they found him dead. Where did it say?
It says the suspect he was found dead by a dumpster near a recycling plant in Lisbon, Maine, with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. So they
Mm.
found him near a recycling plant. Um,
Hmm.
so is this the person that they said was hearing voices?
Yeah, he was hearing voices.
See if we had mental health facilities, he could have been getting some sort of treatment somewhere. But
Yeah.
to me, I think this is like I think they call it Hegelian dialect, where it's a cycle that these people put on these politicians. It's like wash, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Create the problem, create the solution, then you recycle again, create a problem, then create a solution to that problem, and you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
They're creating a problem of mental health being an issue in this country, and their way to fix it is let's just crack down on gun control.
Right. Of course,
What?
because that's always what it is. It's the same story every time. I saw this comment from Kevin. The soldier was mind controlled by the U.S. government. So I listened to X-22 last night because I needed to fall
Oh
asleep,
Lord.
and they went straight into that. And on X-22, they were like, "Yeah, he's being mind controlled." And even X-22 was like, "I know people think that's crazy, but they can do that, you know." And
See,
they're
this
like,
is so
it's perfect timing because they needed a distraction for people not to pay attention to Palestine and Israel and this, that, and the other.
can
Yeah,
we can we call cap on X-22? This is not a
of
huge
course.
topic, X-22. This is like this shooting is the least of people's worries. If
Yeah.
you look on social media, the only thing you're going to see is this conflict.
Yeah.
Dang, he got it wrong again.
What?
I used to listen to that and find peace of somebody just talking. But now when I go to turn it on, because there's every now and then I'll go and listen to a few episodes, I just
Yeah.
get immediately annoyed.
I
Like you're lying.
know.
I can't
I
listen to you
know.
anymore because I know you're bullshitting everybody.
I know. I know, right? I listen to it. No, and you know what? I listen to it because I know that there's people that are gonna have those theories,
Yeah.
right? So like I listen to it because I'm like, oh, this is where they're getting it. They're getting it from X-22.
That's
But
smart.
yeah, but like now even with this guy dying, like I'm looking in the comments and people are like, this isn't even the same guy that you see in the videos. It's a
Oh my
it's an
god.
imposter,
Jesus.
killing like
See? Oh, my whole mic just
choreo
fell.
choreographed false flags, MK Ultra. Listen,
These are the
I'm gonna
mentally ill people that need these facilities. These
the
people right
people in the
here.
comments, the people in the comments, right?
Y'all crazy.
I know. And this is the thing about it. Like to the people that like to use the false flag thing, because I've even used it sometimes, like false flags and distraction and all this other stuff. You guys just understand, like the more you write off things as false flags and distractions and all this other stuff, you're missing things because you're like, it's just kind of like with the, oh, Trump's going to take control. He's always been in control. He's going to like activate this and do that. It's not happening.
Yep. It's
It's
creating
not happening.
complacency because
It's
when things
creating
happen, they're gonna be like,
complacency.
it's not real, guys. It's just the government doing something, and before you know it,
Yeah.
all your rights that you've been saying are gone bye bye, or they're gone bye bye for real.
Yeah.
They went bye
Exactly.
bye.
Yep. And you're not even going to know what happened because you guys are too busy listening to X-22.
It's a false flag, guys. Don't worry. The white hats are coming.
Yeah. Soonie's new IG, if you're looking for her, because it changes every time she gets a account. Band is literally not Soonie Blanks. She has to be real creative with the names these days, guys. Real
Isn't
creative.
that like a dope name though? Like literally not Soonie Blanks. Just leave me alone. It's not me. I
Was
promise
it?
you it's
Oh,
not me.
I thought it was like a play on the Linda, like literally.
I did this
Literally.
before. No, you did not just do my name like that. I had this name before Linda ever existed. Literally.
Leader, leaderly.
Stop it before she threatens to sue us again. I can't take another lawsuit.
Oh my gosh.
Just can't take it.
Let me just talk about her for a second. Cause see, now you done brought her up. Okay.
You brought her up.
So she's been talking a lot online about, how she's always talking about hot women and this is why women are single and blah 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 blah. Um, you know how my beef with like the red pill community is I'm sick and tired of men who don't have good relationships giving people advice on
Yeah.
relationships. Linda, from what I know, you ain't got a man. Why are you talking to me?
You about to get this girl fired up. Somebody gonna be like, "Did you see what
She-
Mo said about you?"
yes, go ahead and tell her because it's facts. Like, why are you talking to us about how women should be? And she might come back and be like, literally, I just don't put my information on the internet. Okay. Like I have a man, I date. Okay, whatever. You're not married. I don't see a ring on your finger. Ain't nobody trying to commit to you. I'm just saying. Can
Who
people
is
who have no
Conscious
business
Queen? What is your name on Instagram? Sorry, you didn't have to stop talking. You could put it in the chat. I don't know who you are. What is your name?
what is your name? Anyways, yeah. So I'm just gonna say that because it's just like a little pet peeve of mine. I'm sick of these people.
Sick of these hoes. You
Sick
know
of
what's
these
funny?
oh what?
I said the same thing on Pearly Things on Twitter today.
Mhm.
She had said, um, single moms. No, what did she say? Something about wives. Something about wives. And I said, why would anybody take advice from you? You're like single as crap.
Right.
No one knows if you've ever had a successful relationship. The relationship that we did see, you were sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I don't know. You made me lose my train of thought.
Who did? Me?
No, the person who was asking why they can't follow me.
Oh, well, she just I put
You
out the
don't
link.
know.
Oh,
You probably just gave my
Renee Jones
is it
316.
isn't that Faye? No
Faye?
way. That is
Is it
not
Faye?
Faye, bro. Judy coming through the clutch.
Who's Renee
Early
Jones?
things. I don't know who she is, but follow me.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Pearly Things.
Pearly Things is single. We've never seen her have a successful relationship. The
Right.
relationship that we did see, you were in a relationship with a fat, overweight black man. So yeah, I don't think we should be taking advice from a lot of people, but people do.
Yeah,
So what do I know? I just keep my
exactly.
mouth shut, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
happy I'm married.
that's the great thing about the internet is you can be whoever you want to be. You can pretend to know it all. I mean, that's really what makes it great. There's some people who look at Linda and they're like, "Wow, she's a beautiful girl. Like I want her life. I'm going to do everything she tells me to do." Right?
Mhm.
That's fine. I'm just wondering, like, as a woman who doesn't need her advice, because I can see clearly. You know what I mean? I can see through the fog.
I
Why
got
are you giving advice? And why are people
why?
listening?
Shut up. Stop giving advice. I would. You know what? Sometimes I wish we would just tell people to shut up. Sometimes, like I
Yeah.
think it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
They're not fighting words. Some people deserve to just be told to shut up.
I don't know
Breathe.
if it's shut up because I'm starting not to like that word, but just like
Really? Why?
just sit down. Just sit down. Just take
Ain't
several
that the same
seats.
thing though?
Kind of and kind of not. Like I feel like shut up is very dismissive. Take several seats is probably like my more go-to. Several seats, Linda.
I only say it when someone says something completely ridiculous, and then I'm like, dude, shut the f up.
Yeah. Yeah. You say it like kind of like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next 10 years when I'm damn near at 20 years, and we'll see what the dating scene is like.
Oh gosh, it's gonna be a mess.
I'm gonna be in my 40s commenting on like these relationships. I want to know who's still single, who gets married eventually. I've been looking
Right?
at all this to just to
Right?
see like where people fall. You want to know who I want to see get married?
Who?
You're probably gonna. What do you think? Guess first. Who do you think would be my guess? Like somebody I really want to see get married.
Is this okay? I need like some context clues. Is this somebody you like or just somebody we
No,
know?
I don't like them. Let me not say I don't like them. They're just a little annoying.
Phil.
Yes, I
Really?
want to see Phil get married. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
I
do
would
too.
clap for Phil, like, bro, I really wanna see him get married. I think once he does find someone and he settles down and he loses that defensive nature about
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be a great husband. I like
Yeah.
Phil.
You think
He's
that it'll
cool.
you think that it'll humble him a little bit so
I
he can
do.
be his true authentic self. I
I
think so
do.
too. I
I
totally
do.
agree with that. I totally agree with that. Okay, real quick, when somebody says, "No, several seats is not a fat joke." It's just like, when you're like, "Okay,
That
dude, take a seat. We'll be right with you." Take several
relax.
seats means you got a long time to sit down, okay? Your
Yeah, sit
timeout
down,
is
relax.
extended. Yeah. Yeah. No, but
Red Pill said Justin.
oh, Justin, yeah. See, Justin's another way. Like, I know some people find him like annoying. I like Justin. I think he
Mhm.
is an interesting person. I think he's
Absolutely.
a good guy. You know what I mean? I think Phil is a good guy. I think he is going to be a great catch for somebody. I think he talks a lot.
Yeah.
He talks a lot of Nick, okay? Because Phil is like one of those
Mhm.
people, like, I feel the same way you feel like when he finally settles down, when he has children, his perspective is going to change. Um, and I think he's going to get softer in a good way. Like his
Yeah,
rough edges are gonna smooth out a little bit, you know?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Phil would make a better husband than Justin.
Really?
Justin? You know what? I'm biased with Justin
Yeah.
because he's Seven-Day Adventist,
Mhm.
and women, I'm just saying, get you a Seven-Day Adventist man. You wanna know number 1, they are super respectful, they are super uber protective, and a
Mhm.
lot of them are masculine as shit. And if you're
Mm.
attracted to masculinity like I am, go get you a Seven-Day Adventist man. They know how to build stuff, they be in the woods breaking stuff. I'm telling you, they can fix your
Really?
whole dude, go get a Seven-Day Adventist man. I'm biased.
I need to find out if this is true. This
They're
is like
bro, I saw my husband in a plaid shirt, and he looked like a freaking lumberjack.
okay, but you just have your husband hold on. You just have your husband as your reference. Like you've never
No, I have
dated
my
anybody else?
father-in-law, I have my father-in-law,
You're
I have my
biased.
brother-in-law. How am I biased? I don't have to date these men to know that they're
I
good
know,
men.
but they're like your father. They're close people, is what I'm saying.
Nah, if they weren't if come on now. If they weren't ish, I would say it, and you know that. You know I would.
Let
I'm
me
not even
find.
biased with my dad. My dad's not a lumberjack at all. My dad's he's a modern man, okay? My my dad's modern.
Wait a minute. There's like a whole Quora, like a whole. I don't know if you know that website Quora, but there's like a whole Quora thread on why is it so hard for Seventh-day Adventist men to date women from other churches.
Because they listen, they're firm in their beliefs, bro. I'm telling you. They are firm. My husband's best friend is 30 and he's still a virgin and he's getting married in January. I'm
Okay,
just,
this is what it says. It says because the New Testament teaches believers should not be unequally yoked with
yes.
non-believers. Seven-day Adventists consider themselves to be the only true Christian denomination. The last day remnant church spoken about in the Revelation. So it's an
Yes.
Adventist girl they want to marry and children raised as Adventists. Adventists have also interpreted the mark of the beast spoken about in Revelation as Sunday worship, the beast itself being the papacy.
The
Adventists
papacy.
also Adventists also follow the dietary laws of Leviticus. So food off the menu include pork. Oh, see right there? You ain't for me, boo. You ain't for me, boo. Okay. What? Men
Oh my
off the
gosh.
menu. No
Yes.
pork, no duck, no shellfish, no rabbit, no horse. I don't do horse, frogs, cats, dogs, but squid? Come on now. I need my calamari and all other birds listed in the Leviticus that are described as unclean. I mentioned cats and dogs because Asian girls like to eat cats and dogs.
Hey,
And the French
listen,
eat horse meat. Ew.
listen. Everything that we're not supposed to eat is some sort of a bottom feeder or an animal that is just disgusting to begin with. So why
Mm,
anybody would want to eat that is beyond me.
yeah.
I think people just I don't know. When it comes to like dietary stuff, people get super sensitive when you talk about what they eat. Like,
Right.
listen, if you want to eat that, then freaking eat it. Just eat it. Nobody is saying that you're on your way to hell. But there are dietary laws for a reason. Why do you think we most Americans are walking around with heart disease and diabetes? Because they
Yeah.
walk around eating pig feet, hog mogs, putting a bunch of grease in their food, a ton of
Mm,
sugar, all
mm.
these things that aren't good for you.
Woo. Now you're speaking my love language. You said pig feet.
But let's fight about it.
Judy, why eat nasty shrimp? Shrimp is delicious. Calamari is delicious.
That's one thing that I'm struggling with. I love seafood.
Right.
I do.
And your husband doesn't eat it.
No,
But he's a
my husband,
fisherman.
he doesn't eat pork.
Oh no,
He
he's a
doesn't
diver.
eat he's a diver.
Yeah.
Um, he doesn't eat pork. He doesn't eat meat at all.
Okay,
Like,
see, no. That is a no. Okay. If you said to me, Mo, I
mhm,
got this guy who's a 7-day Adventist, okay? He's
yeah,
you gotta check out 7-day Adventist, and you start telling me he don't eat meat, he don't eat pork. That means no
yeah,
ribs. Okay, that
no,
means no ribs, no steaks, no shrimps.
no.
Listen, right there,
Mm.
it's donezo for me. I don't care how good of a man you are. If we cannot eat those foods together, we
Look
can't
at you.
eat.
Look at you blocking your blessings because I just can't get past this food. You got a whole man that is gonna make sure everything is good for you, and but you can't deal with him because food.
That's an important thing about making sure I'm good is food.
Oh my!
Come on, man. You can't
Don't let
listen.
Mo deter you.
Don't
Listen,
let me catch a Puerto Rican person. Do listen, Puerto Ricans, I'm talking to you. Don't let me catch you with no 7-day Adventist because y'all love pork. Okay.
get you a 7 day minutes, man.
Y'all live on an
I'm just
island. How you
saying.
not gonna eat fish? Soonie, you're not
Look.
making the case, man. You're not making the case.
Okay, you want me to make the case? I go on vacations every year, multiple vacations. I don't work. If
But
I
what
want
good is the
something,
vacation
what
if
do,
you can't eat all you want to eat?
what do you mean? I'm traveling out of the country to multiple
That's it.
places.
No. But listen, the fun part
Come
about
on.
traveling to multiple places is enjoying the food there.
Sure, and
Do
for the
you
people who
know?
don't really care about food, what about the
uh,
landmarks? What about the
okay,
culture?
the people that don't really care about food, what? Okay, those are not people I will ever be associated with.
Oh my
You're
gosh,
talking
stop
to a
it.
girl that will fly to Chicago for a hot dog and a slice of deep dish pizza. Okay. I ain't your friend if food is not important to you.
I mean, we share that love of food, but I'm not eating pork.
Yeah, I
See,
mean, like
we
you and
we talk
I,
about food, dude. We share recipes, and we're like, "Ooh, look what I made today."
right?
You could
Because you're
you could
not a
get along.
strict 7-day Adventist, but you're talking about a strict. You're talking about if this dude was like a strict 7-day Adventist. I'm sorry,
Hey,
food is important.
listen, ladies, if you can get past the surface level discussion of food, this is a great father figure and a provider. They are. Just saying.
In the chat,
Women
please
aren't
list.
flocking to Baptist men. Women aren't flocking to apostolic men. Most if you look at if you had to let's how do I want to question this? If you had to lay out the top religions that people would want to marry into, what would your number one pick be? Just not your personal thing, but society. If you had to view society,
Jew, Jewish.
why?
Yeah. Money.
Because they have a lot of money. They have a lot of structure, and it comes
Yeah.
with power.
Yeah.
Nobody's going after Baptists. Nobody's going full Baptist, apostolic. Catholics is you ain't even up there. They're going for the more conservative men
Yeah.
who generate a lot of income. It is what it is. They're marrying into bloodlines that they think are fit for them. Ain't nobody going after these other religions. They're not. They're not.
So this is an interesting topic. So I was just looking up what the dietary restrictions of certain religions are. Okay. And so this, like, if I were to be in the
Okay.
dating world, I would start here. Okay. So let's just go down.
Oh my
And
God.
while I'm reading, everybody, if you know the religion that has like the best dietary
Yes.
ways listed in the chat, okay?
I'm gonna
Based
say
on
SDA. I'm gonna say Messianic Jews and SDA
based on food.
based on food.
Okay. So this, I don't think this is in any order in particular,
Mhm.
but they said Hindus avoid food that they believe hinder their spiritual development. For example, okay, so again, no Hindu for me. Garlic, onion, and other foods that stimulate the senses. While eating meat is not prohibited, many Hindus avoid it. Eating beef itself is prohibited. Cows are sacred, but dairy products from cows are acceptable. Buddhists practice our dietary practices are varied. While many Buddhists are vegetarians, it is inaccurate to assume that they all are. Whether a Buddhist is vegetarian depends on an individual choice. For example, vegetarianism is rare among Tibetan and Japanese Buddhists. Some may abstain. So, okay, Buddhists, I could rock with you. You sound like you got a little bit more leniency. Okay, you sound like you got a little bit more leniency. I don't even know what Sikhism is. Sikhism.
I've never heard of that. That's a new one.
Right. So most of them eat meat as long as it's not prepared according to kosher or halal methods. Alcohol is prohibited. Where Sikhisms? Where you at? Where you at? Okay. Pipe up in the chat. Okay. Church of Latter-day Saints, more commonly known as the Mormon Church, is well known for prohibiting alcohol, tobacco consumption. They also avoid caffeine, hot drinks like coffee. Now, what are y'all having babies all the time? You ain't got nothing else to do. They don't drink coffee, tea, or hot drinks. Mormons eat meat, herbs, vegetables, and fruits in the season thereof, and wheat, which they believe has been ordained to man. Moderation is strongly encouraged. Okay. And here are the 7-day Adventists. So here's the rules of the 7-day Adventists. Okay. They follow a strict lacto-ovo vegetarian diet with no meat, fish, poultry, alcohol, tobacco, or caffeine. You ain't no 7-day Adventist.
What do I take in?
You drink alcohol. You drink caffeine. You eat fish.
What caffeine do I drink?
You don't have coffee?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
You know the last time I had a coffee?
It better have been before. Soonie is Amish. Okay.
I'm not Amish. Stop it.
Damn. No whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Oh, fruits and vegetables are considered the base of their diet. Legumes, which is like beans, low-fat dairy products, and eggs, are to be used sparingly. Not for me.
Yeah, that's why they make tofu scramble for their eggs. They don't eat eggs.
Right. Anyways, those were the most severe dietary restrictions on religion. So those are the top 5.
Can we do one more? The healthiest religion.
The healthiest. Do you have that list, or do I need to look it up?
Somebody asked, could you Google it?
Oh, what religion? I said, what religion has the best diet? As the healthiest?
Yeah. No, not the healthiest diet, but can you Google the healthiest religion, like the people?
Oh, the healthiest. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the healthiest religion?
I bet you it's Jewish people.
I think it's taking the word healthiest as like health. Or is that what you're asking? Health wise or the best religion?
Health wise.
Okay, so health wise, okay, I don't want that because that's like a which religion has more life expectancy?
Yeah, that'll work.
Christians, 68.1 years is the average lifespan of a Christian. Muslims at 66, Hindus 65. Damn, Jews. Finally, something the Jews don't excel at. Oh, man. Which religion is
Christians.
happier? Happier religion is Protestants, Buddhists, and Roman Catholics. I refuse. Well,
Protestants.
you know why the Catholics are happier? Because they just sin and then they just go light a candle and say a few Hail Marys and they're forgiven. What's there not to
But
be
wait a
happy
minute.
about?
Most Christians are Protestant though.
True.
Listen, go get a Seventh-day Adventist man, okay?
Here we go.
Most Baptist men are closeted homos. And I know because I grew up Baptist. I was raised Baptist. I was raised in an apostolic church.
Uh-huh.
We didn't go full Baptist until I was like 10 or 11. Most Baptist men are closeted homos. Go look at our conference.
But why do you
Full
think that
Gospel
is?
Baptist. I don't know why that is.
Let's see.
I really don't.
Are
I just
most
know they're touching on kids. They touching on kids. Somebody in the pulpit is sleeping with one another. And it's usually a dude.
Dude, the Southern Baptist Church has 16 million members part of the LGBTQ community. What?
I grew up Baptist. They're gay. I grew up Baptist.
Wow.
Most of everybody in my church was a closeted homo.
That's crazy.
Eddie Long, Bishop Eddie Long is a closeted homo. He's dead, God rest his soul. But he was one of the biggest pastors in the Full Gospel Baptist conference.
Wow.
Bishop Paul Morton is doing stuff behind the scenes. Y'all can go look this up. TD Jakes, go look this up. These are Baptist preachers.
That's
No,
crazy.
I would never date any Baptist ever. They are barred. I don't even want my children procreating with any Baptists. Hopefully they find someone else that's Seventh-day Adventist or a Messianic Jew.
Yeah. So I was looking up to see which religions are like have an officially strict position against same-sex marriage, and it says that Buddhism is the only one that does.
Oh wow.
Like they strictly stay to it.
Your husband is one person. I'm talking to the macro. Your husband does not count in this conversation.
Uh-oh.
The majority of those people are gay.
Ask your husband, Red Pill, if he agrees with that statement.
He's going to be biased because he's a Baptist man.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait. I read that wrong. Buddhists are the only one that don't have a position on same-sex marriage. They don't have a position. The Buddhists love everybody.
Look, Deacon Kemp, you know what he was doing? This is what he used to do every Sunday and Wednesday. He would do this, get up on the stage, drawing your wondering minds, beloved. What man gets up there and beloved? He was the only one. There's multiple men in the kitchen committee. He was the loudest one, and he was an elder in the church. I knew elders that were sleeping with the congregation, bro. I knew deacons who were on the deacon board screwing each other.
Oh my Lord. See, okay, so that kind of sounds like my type of church because there sounds like there's a lot of tea going on over there. You know what I mean? Like that's the church. Listen, that's the type of church that you go to as much as you can throughout the week because you're trying to find out who.
Our church was live.
That's what I'm
Everybody
saying,
went to Greater Calvary. You can look this church up. Greater Calvary, Full Gospel Baptist Church, Erie, Pennsylvania. That was the most popular church in the city of Erie for a number of years.
What is it again? Greater
Calvary. Full
Greater Cal
gospel.
Full Gospel?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Baptist church. It's on German Street.
Erie,
I'm giving
PA.
up information.
Oh, I'm trying to see if they have a YouTube page.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They do. You wanna
Hold
know
on.
who my church made an album back when, churches were putting out albums, and we had a gay musical director put together our entire musical arrangement. A gay man came in and did this, and we knew he was gay. His name is Jeffrey LaValle. I know these people because I grew up in this atmosphere.
Church look hella low budget. First of all. Wait, let
Yes,
me
it
just
looks
show.
it looks run down now for sure. I won't lie to you. The
Well,
church is off the chain now.
I'm just laughing because here's the congregation.
Yep. So many people left this church because of what I'm telling you. My uncle was an elder in this church. He left the church and started his own church. God rest
Oh,
his soul. I
goodness.
miss him. He's died, but nobody goes to this church no more.
Why they got the white people on one side and black people on the other side?
It's Erie, Pennsylvania, girl.
Why the pastor
That's
wearing dark
Colin. That's
sunglasses?
Colin Gavin. That's the preacher's son, Colin Gavin. I grew up with all these people, Mo.
Oh my gosh.
That's Colin. Colin, let me shut up because I like Colin. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
What?
That's Melissa. Melissa's been at that church forever.
Wait, Melissa in the wheelchair?
Melissa's in the wheelchair.
Oh Lord.
I'm so mad. I know all these people in this church, bro.
That is funny that you were like, you straight up named them. That is really
I
funny.
know these people. They'll
Oh
tell you
my
what went
God.
down in our church growing up, bro. Our church was ratchet as hell.
Red Pill
Ratchet.
says the Methodists.
I didn't grow up Methodist. I grew up Baptist. That is my only experience. And most of the people in the church were closeted homosexuals.
Huh. Can I ask a question?
Hmm?
So, how did all these different like Seven-Day Adventists, Baptists, who are the other people? Lutherans.
Yeah.
How did all these different how did this like split up like that?
Everybody took a bit of truth and ran off with their own gospels. A lot of this stuff, a lot of what you learn in the Baptist doctrine is
Mhm.
man-made.
Mhm.
We weren't allowed to wear, I think it was like purple and red. You couldn't do that. You couldn't have your ears pierced. Um, you have to, in the Baptist faith, if you are not filled with the Holy Ghost and
Uh-huh.
you do not get baptized, you do not go to heaven.
Uh-huh. Right.
You need to be baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That's like
There's nothing else
Catholics.
outside of that.
Catholics are like that too. I
Um,
remember when my kids were born, they my mother and my grandmother were like, "You have to baptize them, otherwise they're gonna live forever like in purgatory."
yeah,
Mhm.
Pentecostal. My church was a mixture of both because Pastor Gavin was Pentecostal before he went full gospel.
Mm.
But listen, bro, a lot of that stuff that they teach is man-made. They teach that Sunday is the day of worship. No, it is not.
Mhm.
The day of the week is the holiest day, and that's the day that you set aside.
It just blows my mind, and it kinda makes me wonder, like, maybe that's why we're so kind of lost, right? Because, like, we all took pieces and made all these different gangs, basically.
Yeah, instead of people just reading the Bible for what it says,
Yeah,
they put their own doctrine on it.
yeah, and it's confusing. I
It
think it's
is.
confusing because there's oh my god, because there's
That was a
people who
loud
don't
burp.
no, it was the dog. He's like
Oh,
he's over here like "Rah, rah, rah." Anyways, there's people who don't like, who don't know much about religion in general, let alone
yeah,
all these different sectors, right? And then you
yeah,
look at like religions like Muslim, and I know that they have the extreme Muslims. They kind of are split up into two, right? Like they have like the extreme Muslims and then they have the biblical
mhm.
the Torah. What is it the Torah? The Quran?
What,
What?
Muslims?
Yeah.
The Quran?
the Quran, and then the Torah is Jewish. Never mind.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like they don't tolerate that type of stuff. Like I don't
Mm,
understand how we tolerate that.
because people, this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking as the authority. Anybody can feel free to give their opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we are the most tolerant because we depict a false sense of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
We depict Jesus as this hippie, love is love, and there's no balance to that love, but there is structure and rules to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get to the Father but through Christ. And Jesus says, come as you are, but not leave as you are. You're supposed to go away and be new. You're not supposed to continue sin. And because we tolerate so much and we've maimed the Bible and twisted it, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like anything goes now. And
Yeah.
most Adventists reject Ellen G. White. Just FYI.
Reject what?
Ellen G. White.
Who's that?
She's not the founder, it was actually her husband. She was just a woman who claimed to have prophecies and visions being given to her from God, and she wrote several books
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of older Seventh-day Adventists take her teachings. But your more modern Seventh-day Adventists, yeah, they read Ellen G. White, but they're into the Bible more than not.
Mm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
those other religions don't play. And they're more serious about their relationship too. Like they want to
Yeah.
achieve heaven. They
Yeah.
want to achieve that paradise. They
Yeah.
understand there's a reward there. And whether we agree with like okay, the Muslim faith looks at Christians like we look at them. We're in
Mm-hmm.
opposition. They're still more structured. Their women are submissive, whether they live over there or in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of these dudes, especially Somali guys, they go straight into engineering, just straight
Mm-hmm.
away.
Mm-hmm.
They have family structures. So the Christians don't look like any sort of religious group to begin with now. Like they just don't.
Right.
It looks like a club that everybody can be a part of, and n- there's no rules.
Yeah.
If there is a
They're
rule,
really.
let's just adopt what the Catholics do. I can just profess my sins and ask for forgiveness, and God will forgive me. After
Yeah.
after a while, you get turned over to yourself. That's in the Bible too, but people cherry pick.
Yeah. For sure. And it's interesting. We didn't even like plan this really cool transition because I
Yeah.
just saw a movie today. I want to ask the question of everybody in the chat. But who in the chat either believes or has experienced a near death experience or dying? Sudi, do you believe in near death experiences?
Um, Near death experiences. Can you uh give me like more context?
So near death experiences in the terms of like people claim who have died, who have clinically been pronounced dead on the table and then have been
Mm,
resuscitated back to life. They claim to have had a near death experience where they saw a light. They saw either like a lot of them have
uh,
similar stories. Do you believe in those experiences that people can actually experience that?
um, See, I'm gonna say no.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think people do. I think that is your brain doing what it does, and it's probably a trauma response
Mhm.
that your brain is responding to. Um, when I think of like near death experiences, it's like an actual near death experience. Like I can only give getting in a terrible car wreck. Like I thought we were dead.
Mhm.
That was it.
Mhm.
I thought that was it. And
Yeah.
nothing flashed before my eyes. I just knew I had no control.
Yeah.
And I kind of just let go. Like I don't have any control in this situation. So if I stop, I stop. If I don't, I don't. But I
Right.
don't I don't believe that you have anything else outside of that. I think it's just your brain responding because I don't know. To
Yeah.
me, that just seems like some weird witchcrafty shit. I just
Mhm.
don't believe it.
Yeah, so I put Red Pill's comment up here. I've watched many people close to death and dying. I believe God is there with them. So she's obviously she because of what she her profession as a nurse, she would have that experience for sure. And I don't know if you've ever like witnessed somebody going through the process of dying, like in hospice, but I've been in the hospice, like on the hospice floor in the hospital. And when you go to hospice, they give you like this little pamphlet and they tell you these are the stages of death. These are the stages you're going to see your loved one go through, because they see it all the time. So when somebody's like naturally dying, they go through these things almost like verbatim, like as they list them in the pamphlet. And it's actually
See, to me,
quite
that I'm sorry, go ahead.
it's actually quite incredible to see. Um, One of the steps is they say in there hallucinate and see things. Some of them might say that they see like people that have passed on, or, you know, light or God. You'll hear those things, like they tell you that. And we experienced that with Dave's dad. Like he called out the name of, like, I think it was like an old pet. Um, he said one time, they're all here. Like I remember him like looking up and he was like, they're all here. They're in front of me. Like kind of insinuating that there were people in the room, which there was like nobody in the room but us. And he was actually in a coma, which was even weirder. But yeah, like I think that is very believable. Now my mom brought me to go see this movie, which I'm going to show you the trailer for it. It's called After Death, and it was made by the same people that made The Sound of Freedom, and they made the Chosen series, Angel Studios, and they made this documentary about people who experience it. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to talk about a very specific story that even the guy in this documentary, which is like the skeptic person, he's the guy that does not believe in this stuff, and he's been studying it to kind of like disprove it, came across this case. And I don't know if it's in the preview of this preview, but he came across this case of a woman who had to have, I think, what they call suspended brain surgery, which is when they have to go and operate on the stem of your brain, which is the most dangerous part of the brain. It's like they consider it no man's land. And they completely drain the blood from your body and you die for an hour. Like they put you in a suspended death for an hour. And they actually put these little headphones in your ear so it plays clicking sounds. So they make sure that your brain is not reacting to the sounds. And that's how they know that you're basically turned off, right? Well, this woman is in the documentary and she talks about how she was put under like this for this surgery. And when she came out of the surgery and the surgeon came to check on her, she was telling him, you were having this conversation. You talked about how I had this going on in my groin. You talked about the fact that like my enzymes were blah, 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 blah. She was repeating things that left this guy in complete shock. He was like, there's no way she could have known this because her brain has no activity. She was clinically dead, no activity. We could see it on the thing. She has no blood in her body.
And how did she come back to life?
Well,
that's just
they brought, so this is like a procedure where they actually on purpose, that's what they call it, suspended brain surgery. They on purpose put you in this state of temporary death to be able to give you this procedure. Crazy.
Look that up.
Okay, let me play the thing. I suggest this movie if this stuff interests you, but I do want to talk about, because you were talking about the Bible and religion, so this kind of plays into this. So we'll play this and we'll talk about that.
Doctors resuscitate.
I can't be dead because I've never felt more alive.
I've never heard these experiences before. Hogwash.
It was 1969, a beautiful day to fly. We were about 100 feet above the ground when I started noticing that something was wrong. It was engine failure. Trees were filling our windshield. I found myself above the crash site. And while I'm processing what I'm looking at, I can see a pilot, and this is me.
No two near-death experiences are the same.
Out of nowhere, a trailer truck hit me head on. but
They typically occur in a very consistent process.
We began to go down the river, and my boat became pinned. I was drowning.
The first thing that happens is called an out-of-body experience.
And they come to a place of exquisite beauty.
They very commonly see a light. Deceased relatives come to meet them.
the first person I saw was my grandfather. Now I'm traveling like a rocket ship, straight upwards. And with that, oh my God, I'm alive.
But not every near-death experience is a good one. 23% had hellish experiences.
I saw a black tunnel. I was just falling. I wasn't in fear. I was in terror. It was just darkness. Put me back. I don't belong here. I heard a voice before I woke up.
You still have a purpose on earth.
I was very skeptical.
I never felt alive and then dead. I felt alive and then more alive.
Had full brain recordings from the dying human brain.
Even though they were unconscious, they were able to give corroborative evidence.
She's describing something she just shouldn't know. This ain't right.
You can't be mystified by that question. What happens after you die?
This really does show that there is life after death.
I'm Don Piper.
So they show the guy in there that's crying and he's saying, "Put me back," the guy that had the hellish experience. And that's really like what I was shocked about in this story, because usually when you see these shows, they're always talking about the light and the beauty of the experience that people have had. And they actually talked about a couple of experiences where people did not experience the light. And they either had attempted suicide. That particular guy that was crying, he had a very hard life. His mother was abusive to him. He had a bad relationship with his children. He had a bad relationship with his wife. When he clinically died, he was in misery. And he says that he was with these dark creatures that were literally trying to like gouge his eyes out and beat him to death and curse him. And he was just like, "Why are you doing this?" And they were like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up. Just keep walking and you're going to find out." And they just like kept saying stuff to him. And all of a sudden, because he was so overwhelmed and wanted out of that situation, he called out to Jesus and he was like, "Please, God, I haven't believed in you, but if there's anything I can do to get you to help me, I believe. And he said in an instant, that's the like the image of the rocket that you see, because that's how he like that's how he described it. He was like, in an instant, I went from being at the bottom to being shot up through the universe. And he said, I felt instantly and I knew that God had saved me. And I realized at that moment, it was never too late to call on God. It was never too late. And that's depicted in the Bible, right? With the thief on the cross, when God saves him in the very last moments of his life, you know, he calls out to God and God saves him. So I think that is depicted in the Bible. But I thought it was like really, really beautiful when they asked everybody, what is the overwhelming feeling and purpose that you felt when that happened? Like when you went to this place that you describe as heaven, because they all described it as heaven. They all said that they asked, "Why am I here? Why am I being sent back? I don't want to be sent back. I want to stay here." And they said when they spoke to God, that God said, "You're not done. And I need you to go back and I need you to love." But these people were like, what more could love fix what's going on in this terrible world in my life, right? Like my life sucks. The world sucks. Love isn't going to fix anything. And he said, "This is what I created you for. And this is why I'm putting you back, because you're not done." And they all said the same thing, which was really, really beautiful. But I thought it was beautiful that there were people that had no belief in God up until the very last minute. And in that very last minute, they were in fact saved, which was really, really cool. So,
Interesting.
yeah. I don't know. I wonder sometimes if we overcomplicate if we overcomplicate the word of God, the meaning of the words that he had. And, you know, like the Bible as we read it today, I'm sure has been obviously because it's been translated from Aramaic into English. Maybe a lot of it has been lost. Oh, I'm so sorry, Casey. Your dad died. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Um,
Condolences.
yeah, that's terrible. But I just wonder sometimes, like, because I hear so many people talk about religion and God, and like I love listening to the conversations because I don't know everything about the Bible and everything but I always enjoy hearing the conversations that people have about it. But then I also wonder, like, are we sometimes overcomplicating it? Like in our minds, is it really just simple for God? Like, is it as complicated as we make it out to be? Um, And do people live tortured with the I'm never going to be this perfect Christian. I'm never going to be without sin. I'm never going to do everything right. Like me. Hello, that's me, you know? I'm that person that I'm just like I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of things that are not Christian like and I had fun doing it and I know I wasn't supposed to do it, but it was fun and I enjoyed my life, you know. Um I don't know. I just wonder, like, if people think about that sometimes.
I don't know. If I were to carry that mentality, then I don't think I would be me today. I need structure
Mhm.
because I grew up in chaos. So yeah, no, I need that firm structure of this is what life is. This is how
Mhm.
you live it. You don't live it that way. You don't get a reward because to me, that's life.
Yeah.
I don't believe everybody will be in heaven, even the people who ask for forgiveness. I think that is all up to God at the end of the day.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I don't know. I view love a little different than a lot of people. It's probably my upbringing that maybe
Mhm.
makes not jaded, but just a little bit more stern with things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get that. I get that there's people that are very stern about, um, their religion. Like, it would come off so disingenuous and fake if I came up here, you guys, and was like, you know, trying to, like, quote scripture and trying to say, "This is what God said," and, like, you know, like, I would come off so fake because that's just not me. That's just not me. I'm that girl that's just like, just love and have compassion. And I know that that sounds really kooky for people, but that's me. That's what comes natural to me. I think that's how God built me is to bring compassion and love and just, you know, not to say I'm not a bitch sometimes, not to say that I'm not difficult, not to say that I don't criticize people. It's not always like love, compassion. I think I get to that point, right? Because that's kind of like ultimately how I'm built inside for that. And other people are not. Other people don't think like that. I don't think other people have um a built-in compassion or love meter like I do. And I think that that's just not how you were built. Some people are built one way and I'm built this imperfect way. That's why reading the Bible is important currently in two separate Bible studies, and Holy Spirit is convincing me people must read and God will do the rest. Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely agree. I've never like sat down and read the Bible from cover to cover. There are parts of the Bible that I love reading, and I definitely go there for certain things. But I've never sat and like read it from cover to cover. And I've heard people say you totally should do that. Have you read it from cover to cover?
I've read it from cover to middle.
Cover to middle. Hmm.
I haven't
It's
read
a
the
big
end.
book.
I don't like Revelations. I know a lot of Christians who are like so like excited for Revelation, but I don't. I'm not tarrying for that time because it's gonna be bad. I
Yeah.
also don't believe in the rapture. I just hope that I've lived a long life and that my children have lived a long life
Yeah.
and that we don't have to experience any of that. I don't think I don't know why anybody would want to experience revelation.
Oh yeah, because you're saying like people are like, oh, Jesus is gonna come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
like come back now and save us. Like people are literally like praying for
They're
it.
like asking for Christ to come back. And I'm like, you know what happens when Christ comes back, right? Like
Yeah,
the world is insane. Everyone's mad.
yeah.
Like, you sure you want to be a part of that? I know, I don't. We
So
we
why?
can't even deal with what is now.
So why don't you believe in Revelation?
I do believe in revelation. I don't believe in a rapture.
Oh, in the rapture. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't believe in the rapture. Why don't you believe in the rapture?
To me, there's nothing in the Bible that signals. I know that people will talk about the saints will be caught up in Christ. But to me, that's the way people explain it. It's just off to me. It's like the people who are on planet Earth will disappear. This is just how it's been explained to me. The best way I can explain it is the movie Left Behind. Do you remember that super popular movie back in the early
No.
2000s? Oh, you got to watch it.
Okay.
It's a movie called Left Behind, and it's when Jesus is returning
Mhm.
and the saints get caught up and the world is crazy. There's wars, rumors of wars. I think maybe because I've been like so inundated with a heaven or hell message
Mhm.
that I'm just completely turned off with people talking about the end.
Mm.
The end will come when it comes. Yes, we will know the signs and the seasons, which is how we will know Christ is coming back. But I'm not, sometimes I'll be like, Jesus, when you coming, right?
Mhm.
But I'm not really asking for him to come. It's
Right.
just like have mercy, because I can't, dang. Every
Right.
other day it's something else.
Like you mean like when is he coming to take control over stuff, like, or to have a little
Yes.
bit more influence? Yeah. I think we all
Yeah.
say that. Okay, but
Yeah.
wait, where can I read up more on the rapture in the Bible? Like if I were to like want to go and understand about the rapture, where is that at?
I know it's in Revelations. Let me look up
It
the
is in
actual
Revelations.
scripture. I can't. Yeah, dude. I get so uncomfortable when people start talking about this. Like,
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
You
I
got to.
agree. I don't want the end to come. Like I like life. You know,
I like
because
life.
well, because here's the thing, you guys, and I know that we talk about this stuff and like it seems like this might be our life, but my life is
Mhm.
not politics. Like I don't allow what's going on in the world to determine how I feel that day.
Yeah.
I could read a ton of infuriating news stories and not allow that to affect me and how I'm gonna choose to be that day or how I'm gonna treat people or how I'm gonna feel. Like, I just don't. Like, I know people that, like, they'll be like, "Oh god, I can't even pick up my phone because I just get mad," and, like, by the time it's 9 o'clock, I'm already pissed, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, get a hold of yourself. It's not I know that it is serious,
Yeah.
but even me not being, like, this Bible beater Christian, that's where my faith comes in. Because I know I'm not in control. Like, regardless of how much I might think I'm in control of things, I'm not in control. I'm in control, like, of making decisions, obviously, because God gave us free will.
Mhm.
But I'm not gonna be in control of what's going on all over the damn world. So why am I gonna
Yeah.
get upset?
I mean, I don't know why people get upset. I mean, I do know why people get upset. Um, how do I explain it? It's like me, right? We have emotional attachments to certain topics.
Mhm.
So you get emotionally invested,
Right.
but you don't realize that your emotional investment is depleting you. Like you're depositing feelings and energy into something else that's out of your control. And I
Mm.
think a lot of people who are scared of not being in control, I'm one, we fear that.
Mm.
So you
You're
have to
scared
like
of not
you
being in control?
absolutely.
Really? Like, in general or, like,
Absolutely.
of just specific things?
I think it's so when I say prayers with my children, I
Mhm.
say, I ask the Lord for protection, seen and unseen.
Mhm.
It's the unseen that I really am just like meticulous about.
Mm.
Like I don't go to bed without my doors being locked and my windows being shut. I just don't do it.
Right.
I don't go to bed if my husband's not home. I don't go to bed until my children are asleep. That is my way of having some sort of control of my environment.
Mm,
When I don't have that, I become just very erratic. I get irritated. Most people get irritated because you're experiencing this anxiety
mhm,
because you're lacking control. And I think another reason people have these responses is because they fear death. That is one thing I don't fear.
mm.
I don't fear
Really?
that.
And that's like the
Mm-mm.
ultimate loss of control.
It is the
Well,
ultimate loss of control.
because like, are you thinking like,
It is.
well, now God's kind like now I go on autopilot for God, so like
I
that's why I don't fear
I
it.
can't change that. Like
Yeah.
death is inevitable.
Mhm.
I can never change death. Every
Mm,
human needs to come to terms with the fact that we are going to die. We're going to cease to exist someday.
yeah.
But because I do have faith and I do believe in an afterlife and I do believe that I will inherit heaven, I'm not afraid. But it's the unseen of it's like someone bringing harm to people that I love
Mm,
that I don't like. I don't like not having control of that. So
mm,
guns, bring them. My house being on Fort Knox, okay, bring it.
mhm.
I can live a peaceful life knowing that at least I can control this realm. Now, when I step outside, that part of me goes away because I can't control it. I cannot
Mm,
control if I get hit by a bus. I
mm,
can't control if something comes down and smacks me in the face. No,
mhm.
I'm dead. I can't control those things.
So do you have anxiety more so like when you step outside your house?
Not here because this is a peaceful
Safer,
place.
yeah. Mhm.
Peaceful. At
Mhm.
home, yeah. I don't walk outside until I've looked out the window. I think most
Wow.
people do that. I think it's stupid to just walk out your door. Why would you do that? I look outside. Me.
I'm like, "Good morning," and I'm like the killers are there,
No,
like, ready
dude.
to machete me.
No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't walk outside unless I've looked. Um, one thing that we have been talking about at home is, like, no one's leaving the house unarmed.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Oh,
So,
when you're
I can
back here in the
control
States.
this, yeah. As long
Mhm.
as I can control what's in my control,
Yeah.
I'm good. But I understand there are things that I won't have control over. So, when I don't have control over what I know I can control, that's when it gets real uncomfortable for me.
So would you say, and I'm not attacking, but I'm, like, asking a question.
Yeah.
Would you say 'cause, what is the line in the Bible about faith, right? The absence of
Mhm.
things unseen. Wouldn't you say that that's kind of like a little bit of a deterioration of your faith? If faith is about the absence of things unseen?
Mm-mm. I don't believe God is a genie. I
You
believe that God has given us these tools that we are to utilize, and you are
Uh-huh.
to practice discernment. We
Mhm.
have free will at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So I would be a fool to walk around and think, God is protecting me at all times. Doesn't
Right.
matter what I do, I could just call on God and this person won't shoot me. No,
Yeah.
I need to have something to defend myself.
Yeah. See, I don't walk around like, "Oh, God is protecting me at all times." I definitely say God is watching over me.
Mhm,
We have free will of making decisions like crossing the street, right? So like if
mhm.
you cross the street, you don't look both ways. Um, I don't think the fact that you made the decision to cross the street when you saw a car coming was God. Okay.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because like, people only praise God when things happen in their favor, right? Like, when
Mhm.
people have terrible things happen, their first thing out of their mouth is not praise the Lord, praise God, right?
Yes, I agree.
Which I think is wrong because I think sometimes we should thank God for even the bad experiences because I think those are meant to kind of like redirect us or set us
Yeah,
on a path in the direction maybe that we're like coming away from our path
yeah,
that we should be going. And I think sometimes God gives us a little nudge, right? A little
for
nudge.
sure.
Like if you're a drug user, you're making the choice to use drugs. And, maybe God says, okay, you know what? This time, I'm gonna leave you to your own choices. And the choice you make, you're gonna
Absolutely,
suffer the consequence because
absolutely.
maybe that's what it's gonna take to teach you to do better. And he doesn't have control over whether you learn that lesson.
Exactly.
The second time, he just might take you out.
I have
He
faith. I have an
Yeah,
undying there is nobody on planet Earth that could tell me the Bible and Jesus is not real.
yeah,
Nobody.
absolutely. I agree
But
that
I
I
understand
and I
that
didn't have to read the whole Bible to know that.
but I also understand that this world is wicked. It is. And
Mhm.
there's wickedness here. And we have weapons and things to our advantage to defend us.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who is walking around openly inviting death.
Right.
Nobody does that. 'Cause, like, I cannot fear death, but also not be like, whatever. I'm just gonna go outside and put myself in these situations. No,
Yeah.
it's not doing that. And it's probably because of my childhood. I didn't have a lot of control. So now that I do have control, it's self-preservation kicks in.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's out there inviting death. And people might say, well, if you're a drug user or you're drinking too much or you are living this like dangerous life, you are inviting death.
Mhm.
I think those are actually people that are inviting feeling. I think those are people that are so desperate to feel something,
Like adrenaline junkies.
not just adrenaline, but like, you know, you can have such terrible things. Like, let's just take like people who use drugs in a
Mhm.
terrible way. Like it's unhealthy, right? In the way that they use drugs.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where it's detrimental to their health. Okay. I think a lot of times people um, go to those lengths because they're trying to mask a bad feeling, right? Something that
Mhm.
happened and they've used that as their escape, similar to people who overeat, right? They eat with their emotions.
Yeah.
Um, I think in both of those instances, people have this need to feel something. And the reason why I say that is because, like, when Gabby, for instance, went through her depression and she cut herself, right? And I would say to her, like, why did you do that? Like, didn't it hurt to do that? And she was like, you don't think about the hurt. You think about the fact that you can feel something because you get to a point where you're so numb that you don't feel anything. And that just seeing like yourself cutting and the blood allows you to be like, oh, I am feeling something. I am alive. And so, like, for me to understand that was like wild because I've never been depressed to that point.
Mhm.
But it was like real talk, like that really was like an eye opener for me when I heard that. Because I didn't think about people doing destructive things like that to be
Yeah,
able to feel something.
that makes sense. I actually would agree with that.
Yeah.
The example you just gave, people doing, stupid things to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably 99% of why we have crime. Like, if you look at the
Yes.
people who are committing crimes, you said drug users,
Yeah.
alcoholics. You look at all these people, they have a really checkered past. And I think, to me, that's where, like, the structure of Christianity, it works for me because you have to be self-reflective.
Mm-hmm.
You have to check your own flesh. That's not like, the Holy Spirit dwells within you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you still have to battle with flesh to get over certain things
Yeah.
and conquering certain things. It feels so good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably when I exude this like cockiness
Yeah.
about myself.
Right.
But people don't know what goes on when this camera turns off, or
Right.
the battle that I had to go through to get here. So
You're right.
this persona is not a persona, it's me.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get to where I am today.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this
it's
is what Christianity is definitely brought me, for sure.
right. And I also think part of Christianity is sharing that journey that brought you here with everybody. So, like, everybody has a
There you
similar
go.
journey story, right? So I think those types of things bring people to talking about this stuff and wondering, well, like, God, how did she come from that and then get to where she is now?
Mhm.
That conversation makes people go, okay, well, where's your thought process now that you stay there? And that's why, like, when we first
Mhm.
met, what did I want to do? I wanted to interview you. And I said to you,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you not about Soonie on the internet, because, and I'm not saying this to be mean to you, and I want everybody to understand, but I'm not friends with Soonie on the internet. I'm friends with Soonie that you guys don't know.
Mhm.
So, and I have to explain that, like, every time I go somewhere where people know Soonie and don't like Soonie, and they have to be like, why do you talk to her? Like, why do you have a show with her? And I'm like, well, because I see a Soonie you don't see, right?
Yeah.
And I can explain it to them all I want, but it's never going to matter because they're probably never going to see it because you're probably never going to show it.
Yeah.
You guys can go watch the interview I did with Soonie, and she shares a lot about her life growing up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I think that there's a lot of power to you sharing that journey part.
You know what's crazy?
What?
What's crazy is this is how I believe the Holy Spirit convicts people. I
Mhm,
was sitting and thinking about Abel and
mhm,
his explanation on why he even had thoughts of changing a gender
mhm.
or just questioning his sexuality. And the first thing he brought up was loneliness.
Yeah,
Loneliness. And I
yeah.
thought a lot about my childhood. One thing that I struggled with is people like, "You're gay." Right? And
Mhm,
in my household, that was the worst thing ever. Don't be
mhm,
walking around talking about homosexuality. So on top of I was just a very quiet kid, bro. I really enjoyed solitude, and it's probably my mom's fault. So my mom's the same way. I was an
yeah,
only child. I spent 99% of my time with her, and she really enjoyed her solitude unless we were with family. So I
mm,
had a lot of time to myself, and an idle mind is the devil's playground, okay?
mhm, mhm.
On top of that, not having my dad, not even really understanding boys,
Yeah,
my first interaction with either sex was traumatic. Not that I
mhm.
not in the moment. Not in the moment. In
Because
the
you didn't
moment
know in the moment. You didn't in the
right, there
moment,
you
you didn't
go.
know it was wrong. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. You don't know it's wrong, but when you get older and all these things just start to hit you, bro, you
Mhm.
start to look for an escape, and
Yeah,
anything could become a vice.
yeah,
And mine was I had access to the internet.
yeah.
That was my vice, just to sit on the internet and do nothing. Sit to myself, play on a video game. I played sports, but bro, I wasn't really the person who I wanted there the most wasn't even there. So play sports
Mm.
for what? I was just doing shit.
Your dad. You
So it's
wanted your dad there.
my dad.
Yeah,
So it's funny that you say that because I've been having those moments of just tell your story. Like, what are you afraid of?
yeah,
And I don't know if it's I fear something or I just don't want the judgment of people looking at that because
yeah,
people don't understand that you can progress from something and no longer be there.
yeah.
Like, they don't get it.
Dude, this is why. Okay, so this is how I know, like, again, God is real. Okay, because I was having this conversation with P about the same exact thing, and I was like, I think people have a fear of feeling. And
Mhm.
almost everything we do in life is to avoid our true feelings. Like
Yeah,
we fill it with like fake feelings, right? Like the internet loves me because I post these like filtered photos. The
facts.
crowd loves me because I'm a savage beast and I like nail everybody like down to the ground and I'm like an
Yeah,
excellent debater. And this person loves me because I'm funny and this person loves me because I'm whatever. So I
mhm,
think like we all create this like alter ego to
mhm,
fool the world so we don't actually have to show our real feelings because those are hard, right?
yep,
Like in your case, and this is just my observation because I am so far removed from the internet Soonie.
yeah,
Like you guys, please understand that it's not that I don't support Soonie, like why you guys don't see me on her lives like you used to, but it's because the Soonie that I see outside the internet is my favorite Soonie. And now when I watch her online, it's like watching like your friend who's like, and I'm not saying she's acting because she's being her. This is like a part of her, but it's not the part that I love her for. Like I
mhm,
don't love Soonie why you guys love Soonie because you guys only know that Soonie. So that's the Soonie you have to judge off of. I know the other
mhm.
Soonie, right? So that's the person I like. Not that I don't like internet Soonie. Sometimes I do. Sometimes
I'm
I'm
less combative. I'm
you're
not
less
combative like
combative.
that in
Yes.
like, I'm not combative in real life. I'm
Your
not.
guard is down, is what
I'm
it is.
chill. I'm,
You're
like,
chill.
super chill, dude.
Yeah, you're super chill. So I think what it is that if you were to really like, and I'm not just talking about like a one time sharing your story,
Yeah,
but using your story to allow you to have a little bit more compassion and
mhm,
understanding for people, it would be really difficult for you because that would like completely deconstruct who you are online.
It
You know what I
would.
mean? Because you're just like that. This isn't about feelings. We're talking about facts person, right?
Yep.
Who are you if you have to be that other person? Like, like they wouldn't even
I
reckon. They'd be like,
deal.
Soonie's a
See, this
bitch.
this is the craziest part about it because me and Mo have this conversation all the time.
Yeah.
She brings it up every now and then sparingly.
Mhm.
But it's like, why don't you show this person? Because I don't believe everybody deserves this version of me.
But they do.
Who? No, they don't. Who I show this to is the people that I trust and care about.
Actually,
Me,
stop.
what?
Okay.
What?
You can show it to everybody who is meant to actually see you. And I'm not seeing you, I'm seeing you, will see you. Who's not meant to see you, who cares? Okay. Like, that's
But
my thing.
that's something. Look, this is something, and I know I'm not crying, by the way, I'm yawning. I've been sipping on a Monster. This is something that is out of my control. I can
Yeah.
control my image. Not
Mhm.
that the person, not that when the camera goes off, this person wouldn't be good enough. But
Yeah.
that is very intimate to me. And I don't
Yeah.
believe in just giving that. Like, I don't.
See, and
I
Mo is
don't.
just like, I give it to everybody.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like,
believe that.
"Oh."
I just don't.
I totally no, that's what's funny. But see that I've said this to you before. Like, I think that's why God brought me to your life, because I think God wants you to see that it's
You know what? I think he does.
yeah, like
I
I think
really
I
do.
am the image that God's like, Soonie, she's gonna make you a little lighter. Like she's gonna lighten you up. Okay.
I
Not to
do.
say there are plenty of people in my life that are there to fix my crazy ass. Okay. Because I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
perfect. I'm sure there's people around me that are here to put me in check too. But I think that that's why
Mhm.
we're all in each other's lives, is because we all hold a purpose, you know?
Facts.
Like, we all hold a purpose. I think that's what my purpose is to tell you you're enough. You're like the real you, not internet
Mhm.
you, which is you. It's just like a teeny tiny portion. It's such a teeny tiny portion.
Well, you said it earlier when you were talking about Pastor Brian,
Yeah.
and you guys see a
Minuscule.
this much of who we are.
Yeah.
So there are times where I'm like, I get in my feelings. I'm like, bro, why do people? This is like, I'm asking you a question. We're having a conversation. There's a time to be at work,
Yeah.
right? Because I do want to be taken serious in what I do. It just is
Yeah.
what it is. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get up here and spill my feelings in the air for what? I'm not going to do that. I could do that. Look, I need to talk to you off camera. I could do that
Yeah.
off camera.
Yeah.
But there's a time to do that and there's a time to turn it off.
Yeah.
And the people, see, this is how I view it. The people who get on here and they share that emotional side of themselves, those are the fakest people on the fucking planet. That has been my experience. The
Wait,
people who
wait,
get
wait.
up here and cry. Listen, straight up. What's
That's
up?
me.
You don't cry, but you look, the best example I could give, and you're gonna be like, okay, I get what you're saying. David J. Harris. David J. Harris gets
geez.
up here and pretends to
Oh,
exude
geez.
this transparency.
No.
We need to get on here. I'm gonna sit here and cry and talk about my feelings. The people that I see do that, these life coaches, these women that have these
Yeah.
pages that get on here and they bare their fucking soul, they're
Yeah.
being fake because they're only bearing parts of their soul. At least I get up here and I'm saying exactly how I feel. I'm saying exactly what I think. And
Yeah.
you would hear me say it in person, but
Yeah.
I'm just not going to be as rough with what I'm saying. It's just like, okay, what do you think? I'll reason with you. Erica
Right.
says the same thing you say. If
Does
people
she?
saw this, if people were here to see this,
Mm-hmm.
I believe you would be much bigger than you are. And she told me this before she left. You're hindering yourself.
I agree. Erica, where you at?
You
I know
would
sometimes you be watching.
if you would just show this part of you, nothing could stop you.
Yeah. And
So-
here's the thing, true people, and I wonder what your husband says, because I think true people who really do care and want to see you do good,
Mhm.
like I want to see you do good, because like you and I, even though we have like a show together, we're never like in competition because we're two different people. So
Yeah.
like your success to me like I want, because you're in your own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
threatened by you in any way, because we are two different people. Like, we bring two different things to the table. But I agree with what Eric is saying, because and I think that, like, again, Eric has probably put there as well. And the fact that it keeps being mentioned to you means you should listen, because people want you to hear it. But I think what it
Yeah.
would require is you almost like reinventing yourself. Or
It would
I don't
just
want to say reinventing,
this
but like,
look, if I were to do this, it would be as simple as me cutting on the camera, putting it down,
mhm.
and just talking,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is what I've done. There was a live that I did. I don't know, it was just a late live, and there was people on there.
Yeah.
I was just talking. This is no lie. It went from 4 to 19 at almost 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just on there talking about my experiences,
Mhm.
like, explaining that I think a lot of adults are just stuck because of their childhood trauma, and I gave my story, right? And then people just started sharing their stories, and the
Mhm.
audience started to grow and grow.
Yeah.
So I've done it, but I don't do it during
Yeah,
prime
like,
time. I get on there, nobody's around, and I just
yeah,
vent my
safe.
thoughts.
You're safe. You're like, I do it in the safeness of the midnight hour, you know?
Nobody's there, but the people who see it, just like you said. Those
Yeah.
people, they see it. And I don't mind relating to people that way. But that's
Imagine if
something
you
that
did
I
it
have
at
to
prime
get
time.
comfortable with. I have to develop comfort with that. And I
Yeah.
haven't, because I don't have control there. And I have to understand that I can't
Mm.
have control there.
Ooh, you got to be comfortable without the control. You got to be,
See, I self-reflect all the time, bro.
yeah. You have to be vulnerable, you know? Like I said this to Pete. I was like, it's the easiest emotion for us to have is anger.
It is.
It takes no effort to be angry. Okay.
None.
Nobody has ever gone up to somebody and said, damn, man, how do you do it? How do you stay so angry? Because I'm trying to know. Okay. Let me tell you something. People will approach you and say, how
Yes.
do you stay so positive? Like, I know what your life has been. Like, how do you keep it together? Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come to you and be like, dang, you always so angry. Is that God? Is that the spirit in you? No. But if you have that love and that compassion, I think people are
Yeah.
gonna come and be like, dang, dude, like, how do you do? Like, I heard your story about how you grew up. That's wild. Like, how do you have this outlook
Yeah.
on life? And that allows you to tell or to
Yeah.
share the faith with people.
By the way, there's people who have definitely had a far harsher upbringing than I did. I'm not
Mhm.
up here by any means, pretending to have gone through this, like,
Yeah.
extremely traumatic situation, because much of my childhood was happy.
Yeah.
My mom did the best she could, and I'll say that while we may not have the best relationship, I won't be dishonest.
Mhm.
She did the best she could. My
Yeah.
dad wasn't in the picture. She did the best she could. She thought she was putting healthy male figures around, and she did the best she could with the tools that she had.
Mhm.
But it still creates, even when you try your best, parents, there's still going to be a place that you fail in, always.
Oh, of course.
And I have to come to terms with that my kids are going to come to me someday when they're older and be like, like, this really affected me
Messed
in
me
a
up.
crazy way.
Mhm.
But the difference is, I'm going to own my shit and apologize.
Mm.
If
See,
I
that's
could
gonna
just get
be
an
hard for me.
apology.
That's gonna be
No,
hard.
it's not.
My kids come up to me, talk about I did something to affect them negative. I'm gonna be like, get out of here. You don't know, okay, what abuse and all this other stuff is.
You can't do that to them.
No, listen, I'm keeping it real. That's gonna be my first reaction.
Yeah.
And then I'm
That'd
gonna
probably be
calm.
mine too.
Yeah, and
For
then I'm gonna
sure.
calm down and be like, okay, I hear you. Okay, I
Mhm.
hear you, but I'm not necessarily agree with you. I hear you, and you have a right to your opinion. It's wrong.
It's an opinion.
Yeah.
You're funny.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna do it one day because I know there's a lot of adults like me who have just a lot of unresolved issues because of their parents.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't struggle with it as much, but it's still a struggle for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Always.
still have an emotional reaction. I get irritated. You
Yeah.
can tell when I've spoken to my mother because I'm not myself.
Yeah.
I get irritated.
She
I want to
does.
get over that part.
Yeah. She
And I'm
does.
just not rational. I'm not, bro. You can
She
try to give
brings
me the
up.
best advice ever, and I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. So wait, does Kyle say the same thing that like me and Erica say to you? That you should be more vulnerable?
No. My husband is a very logical man. He's more of a stick to the facts. Who cares about feelings? That's not what you're on there for. Why'd you start this? He always reminds me, like, you said you got on here because you really wanted to educate Black people.
Yeah.
Which is why I have not let that conversation go, because I did start out super pro-Black, like I was.
Mm-hmm.
So his take is not, yes, get on there and talk about your feelings. His is get on there, do your job, present the facts, make sure your production is on point.
Yeah.
And then you go back to life because this is not your life. It's
See,
not.
I guess like from my perspective, and maybe it's because I like live in this world with you of internet drama.
Yeah.
Like from my perspective, I sometimes like see the toll that it takes on you, that like people have this like perception that you are a certain way.
Mhm.
And it like, I can see sometimes that it like tears you apart, that people have these like preconceived notions of you.
It does.
Yeah. And it's hard for me too. Like, imagine me, like like when I went to like Bryson's wedding and encountered a couple people that were like, where's Soonie at? Like, we had some things we needed to say to her because she, Soonie's been, she gone after a few people. And I sit there and I'm like, you guys, I'm like, she's really misunderstood. Like, she's a good person. I get that she's this way. I get that she likes to go after y'all and talk about what you guys talk about, but she's not a bad person, and
But
I
see,
don't
to
spend
me,
too much time. I don't spend too much time trying to convince them now, Soonie,
yeah.
because I'm not in
But
the
to
business of
me,
trying to convince them.
that's in like, you're holding me to this expectation that you don't even hold yourself to. We
Mhm.
are all in the same business.
Mhm.
We provide commentary.
Mhm.
So why do I have to explain to you why I've had commentary?
Mhm.
You can easily get on here and talk to me and voice out how you feel. We
Mhm.
don't need to do this. Like, to me, this is somebody who is trying to be my friend that wants to approach me on something. If
Right.
we clearly are not going to get along, and we all can see that, the only reason you want to confront me in person is to be combative. And I'm with the shits. That's what people don't realize. Fine. I'm with the shits, bro.
Yeah.
If you want to be combative and you want to argue, I can do that.
Yeah.
If
Oh
you
no,
want to
you
be
love
an
that.
adult, if you want to be an adult and have a conversation, I can do that. But we need to see her because we want to say a few things. Because you know what? The next time I see you, I'm going to approach you in a way that you probably don't want to be approached because of what you're putting out into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm doing nothing different than what we all do.
Yeah.
Nothing different.
Well, and I think that that's why I'm able to understand you, because I'm not a combative person. And even if I am combative about things, or I seem like aggressive about things, I always come back down to a level of like laughter or compassion, or, I somehow lighten it up, right? But there's people that definitely bump heads with you because you're ready for the combat, and they're, they get triggered instantly and get too emotional about it and don't realize, like, hello, this is just internet stuff. Like, who cares?
I'm
But
not speaking on anyone personally. I've never gone after anyone personally. Everything I've always talked about is content.
yeah.
And if you can't handle people having an opinion, then why even be on the internet? Like, these people have way bigger platforms than I do.
Yeah.
They get called worse than, hey, I think your take is cringe. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Hey, I think your page is pretty anti-Black.
All right.
Someone says it to you every day. Why is it a big deal when I say it?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So those
Maybe
people,
it's how you say it. It's how you say it.
they will never have a conversation with me unless they approach me in the correct manner. And if they can't do that, then we can
That's
chug the
why I
deuces from
wish
a
you were at the
distance, bro.
wedding. I was looking forward to it, man. If you were at the wedding, I was looking forward to it. I was gonna mend some relationships.
See, bro, listen, I'm from a time period of if you're coming for me, then you got a whole lot of people to go through before you even get to me.
Oh, who's got
That is
who's
really
who?
like, don't
who
do that.
they got to get through?
Well, number one, my husband, you're not going
Oh,
to approach me and say a damn thing without going through him.
mm-hmm.
And he's the main person that's going to tell me to walk away from the situation because it's not worth it.
Oh,
It's
you're
not
talking
worth
about if you were at the wedding. You're talking about if you're well, and you know what? When I think Craig was the first person. When Craig came up to me, we were like in the little buffet line. He's like, "Where your girl Soonie at?" And I was like texting Soonie, and I was like, "Oh, Craig just asked me where you're at," and he's like, "Man," he's like, "I had all these plans. Like, I was gonna pull up a chair and sit right next to her, and just be like, so what's up? Like, you want to talk to me about something?" But I'm like, "Dude, she ain't got no problem with you, Craig." Now,
That's what I'm
Oliver,
saying. Like,
then,
why approach me that way?
but then Oliver came up. I'm like, "Oliver, she got a problem."
I just don't like his content. It's that simple.
Yeah,
He doesn't like my content. I don't like his content.
yeah,
I don't think that he's attacking and like these are things that I've said publicly, bro. So what
yeah,
more do you need to say to me? You know
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't think that you're calling out a narrative. Like it just is what it is, man.
I
It just
know. But see, and like on the flip side of it, like, you know what was so funny is when I went to the wedding and there was like a picture of me and Oliver, like at the wedding, people were like, "You hung out with Oliver?" I'm like, "Yes, I hung out with him. I like, listen, even if I comment on something he posted, I like Right Wing Angel as a person. Like, that's why I say Oliver, because Right Wing Angel and Oliver, just like Soonie and literally not Soonie Blanks, are two different people to me. I
Yeah,
like Oliver. I like Craig. I like
exactly.
Brandon. I like Corinne. That doesn't mean that because Soonie doesn't necessarily get along with them, that means I can't get along with them. And Soonie's never
Why
said
can't
that
we
to
be
me.
like the politicians? Like
I
the
don't know.
politicians, you know what? They turn on the camera, they do their
Yeah.
job, and then they go behind closed doors and they're like, "What's up, bro? Let's go on a golf course. Let's make some money
Yes.
together." Like, why can't we do that?
I don't know.
We're not all gonna be friends in real life. My only
Yeah.
real life friend is Bryson and Mo.
Yeah.
I like it just is what it is. And I don't want a big friend group. That's another
Yeah.
thing I think people are just really put off with me about. I don't
Yeah.
want to be your friend. I'm
Yeah.
okay over here with my 2-3 friends. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah. No, I like all those people and I want to be their friends. 4G Auto Blow, Oliver,
I want to be their
Bra-
friends.
Brandon Grit. I like them. They're fun people. They're fun people to
Come
me.
on,
You know what I
man.
mean? Hey, I have been secretly wishing to see Christian Walker in the local Tom Thumb by my house because he stays here with his mom.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, let me just find Christian Walker and be like, thank God you got off the internet and you're back to talking about gay stuff and you're done
Yeah.
talking about like politics. Cause I think that that's where he belongs.
If he can turn down the flamboyant, like if he could just talk in his
He can't.
normal tone of voice when he
He
has
can't.
that personality switch, he goes from like a masculine voice to
That is
like
so creepy.
this witchcraft appearing white before our eyes when he snaps and he's a total woman. What?
Listen, I have visions in my head of how our first meeting will be. Like he'll be like, "Oh, hey."
Bro,
I
you better
die.
hope I'm not with you because the first thing I'm gonna do is some disrespectful shit and make a beeline away. See, I'm not confrontational, bro. I'm just going. You can catch up
Yeah.
with me like, Soonie, where you go, bro? I'm not
Yeah.
talking to that dude.
You know what? And Tia, listen, I agree with you. There's Christian does say some stuff that I'm like, I agree with it, right? Where he turned me off was when he turned on his dad. Like when he turned on his dad, then
Yeah,
I was like, I saw a side of him that I was like, that's
yeah,
really ugly. But again, see, the compassionate Mo is like, okay, this kid went through some trauma when his parents separated, and this is where this is coming from. This is why he's gay. This is why he's angry. This is why,
yeah,
there's a lot of symptoms of it, of everything. So again, I don't hate Christian Walker.
yeah.
I don't hate
Here,
him. I have compassion
let
for
me
him.
make a because I know people like to screenshot and share this, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Oliver. Okay. I don't have a problem with Craig. I don't have a problem with Corinne. Never had a problem with Tatum. But I'm not a robot. If I see something, I'm going to talk about it no different than the rest of us would. I believe we need someone on our side calling the shit out, or else who is checking you? You can't call for checks and balances in our government and not call for it in our professional setting. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with any of these people. I
Yeah.
never have. But I'm going to talk to who I want to talk to. I'm going to be friends with who I want to be friends with. And that's the way it's going to be. And we don't have to be friends in real life, but we can be cordial and offer some ounce of respect, because ain't none one of y'all going to pull up and fight me. It ain't even really that serious. And if anybody wants to fight, I'm just going to call 12.
Mm.
I'm not fighting you. I got 3 kids and a husband.
That would be so ridiculous. No, see, I feel like if you were at the wedding, I think we all would have laughed and had a good time. And then, like, because I think I would have lightened the moment and I wouldn't have let it get that serious. And then we could have had like a conversation with, like, can we all just. Because I feel like I've met all of them, right? They haven't met you and vice versa. You haven't met them in person. And I think like things really do change when you meet people in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people don't think that I'm going to be this way. And that's where they're sadly mistaken, because this is who I am. I might hold my mouth on some things, but if I don't agree, I'm going to say I don't agree.
Yeah.
Don't expect a different person.
Right.
Expect me with just being friendly. I'm very personable. Like, I don't go out of my way to speak to people. That's just not something that I've ever done. But if you walk up to me and you're like, yo, Soonie, what's up? Bro, I'm going to have a whole live conversation with you.
Yeah.
I ain't going to be disrespectful, like, and turn around and not speak. Like, bro, that's not me. That's just not me. And even I would wave and be like, yo, what's up? And keep it moving.
Yeah.
But I'm not a mean person. I'm actually one of the nicest people on the planet. I would give the shirt off my back if someone actually needed it.
You know what's crazy? Bryson had assigned seating at his wedding, right? Like, so you had to like look at a board and see where you were sitting. And Dave and I sat at a table of people we did not know at all, which was like, at first I was like, oh, this sucks, because he put Oliver, Craig, Brandon, Corinne all at one table and I was at another table completely. And I was like, did he maybe not? I was like, did Bryson maybe put me separate because he thought I had beef with them? I don't know. But anyways, there was this girl at our table. She lives in my same city, y'all. This wedding was in Colorado. This girl literally lives in the same, and I'm not talking Dallas, like the actual little city that I live in, 2 streets down the way from me. She lives. Okay. And she was sitting at our table. So anyways, I made a new friend. She was super nice. We're going to get together. End of story. I don't know why I brought that up, but hey, I thought that was kind of, she is she works in DC. I forget what her actual job title was, but she works for a political something company in DC. And I think she met Bryson and Shakana through that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Super nice girl. Cute girl too. I was like, how are you single? So this is why we're going to get together. We're going to get together because I'm going to find out why she's single. Yes.
Oh,
because
Lord.
you know
Make
why?
sure you hook her up with a Jew or a 7-day Adventist, please.
A Jew. Okay. I'm going to ask her. Has she
a
dated
good
a Jew?
Not a Zionist Jew. Now you need to make sure they're not a Zionist Jew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. But yeah, she was like a super cute girl. So I was just like, how is this girl single? Time to find out.
Nosy Mo.
She might be crazy.
You need to start your own
dating service.
Yes. What do they call them? There's a certain
a matchmaker.
A matchmaker. There you go.
Yeah.
You should have your own like show where you just matchmake moral people together.
Actually, what I really want to do is I want to take like a group of girls out, like a live dating annex. Okay. Like where I take a group of girls out to a location where you meet eligible men and show them in real time, like how you do it, like how you let a man know you're interested, how you flirt, you know, like how you do all this, but you still want to put off the right vibe of I'm not a hoe. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be fun to do? Like in real life, I take these girls out. Like they pay a fee and that covers like your
Mhm.
drinks and like dinner or whatever. And like we will go out as a group and I will like show you how it's done.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I would watch that
I know, right? I would too.
just
I'm
to
gonna
laugh
ask
at you, though.
I'm
I
gonna
would
you know
watch
what?
it for you and you only.
I should get director Phil to produce it. I should be like, hey, do you want to produce
Oh,
and direct a
we
show?
need a whole reality show. We really do. We
Uh,
need a reality show. Bryson
uh,
said we should have a conservative like
real world.
benefit. No, like a
Oh.
football game, a flag football game, a basketball
Oh,
game. We should do these things. We
like
don't
a fundraiser, like where we have
like we
people
have
play.
so many right-leaning celebrities that would bring
Mhm.
out so many people. A lot of
Yeah,
people would come to these events, but we don't put them together.
that really would be cool.
It will be fun.
And see, like director Phil, okay, listen, director Phil has like the cinematic experience to do like a show or like broadcast
Exactly.
something. Forgiato Blow has the money. Okay, he's looking to invest in something.
Forgiato Blow. I can look past Terry. Okay.
By the way, no, I sent Kurt Forgiato Blow. I sent him the clip of you and me last week where like
Yeah.
him and Bryce's thing showed up and you were like, oh God, Forgiato ho. And then I was like, I love him. So I sent it to Kurt and I was like, hey, see, I'm not the one
It was
talking
goody.
shit. Soonie is. He was like, nah, he's like, don't be sending me old clips. I was like, dude, that was just last week.
I love it.
I was like, that was just last week.
Look, it's like Loza, bro.
Yeah. Oh Lord, don't even get me.
They
started.
hold you
That
accountable, but I get a pass. Lady Maga,
Lowe's.
listen.
What, Lady Maga?
I would never show up to an event Lady Maga's at.
Who would bring Lady Maga?
I don't know. I feel like, see, this is where it would get shaky. Because if this is Bryson hosting this, there will be no gays there. Gays
Mhm.
against groomers and all these people, I don't think they'll be included.
Mm-hmm.
So
See,
I
would
think we're
say
safe.
this is where we would differ because see, I don't discriminate when it comes to money. Okay. So you
Ugh.
can bring your money to the table, but we're not going to bring your agendas to the table. We're not going to like be like and introducing gays against no. Or this donation was like gays against groomers. No, this donation was made by a group of nice, Republican voters.
Yeah.
John, Tim, and Bill, and that's all you need to know. Like, I don't need to tell you that they're the gay Republican coalition of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But hey, if I'm not paying for the event, I don't make the rules. But
I don't make the rules.
yeah. What are we doing for Halloween?
Praising Jesus.
I'm gonna make Jello shots and sit outside my house and hand them out to adults. Trick or treat.
Smell your feet. I
Notice
don't celebrate Halloween.
Notice how different our answers were. You were like, read the Bible, praise Jesus. And I was like, Jello shots.
No, I'm not say never. I celebrated Halloween when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but it wasn't Halloween. It was called the Hallelujah Fest
Hmm.
on the night of Halloween.
That sounds fun.
But it's definitely Halloween. Well, we would all go to church and play games in the basement, and then they would hand candy out, and we would go
Yeah.
home. That was a Hallelujah party.
Yeah.
It was
how we used to do
cool.
it.
I used to see all my friends. It was cool. Everybody would show up
Yeah.
in their clown costumes. We would have a sermon about how
Yeah.
Halloween is evil. Some people would take their kids. This is the crazy part about it. Some people would take their kids trick-or-treating, bring them to the church so that the church could pray over the candy. Because the pastor would pray over the candy to make sure it was safe for us.
Uh-huh.
And then we would go about our business.
Oh, wow. That's so funny. Dang. Okay, y'all. I never like have a planned dress up idea, but because I used to do makeup, I love to do like effects makeup and stuff like that. Give me some ideas on some things that I can do. It's always last minute. Like, I'll literally be like, no,
Thriller.
no, I'm not dressing up. And then like an hour before trick or
Thriller.
treaters come, I'm like, I'm Thriller.
You should do Thriller.
Oh, I got to get those like contacts. Those things hurt your eyes.
Oh, you're putting stuff in your eyes? Ugh.
Yeah, you have to. So Gabby was like, we should do Avatar. We should be avatars.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
That would be fun.
You
Yeah.
look like you could be an avatar. I just saw the whole blue thing pop up on your face.
Listen, I did a whole avatar like what is it called? A filter. And I was
Shoot,
like,
we didn't even talk about this First Amendment.
oh
We'll have
yeah.
to do it on Tuesday. We can do it on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. We were having
I
too much
didn't
fun.
realize
We had
that.
a good
I know we
combo.
were. That was a good conversation for sure.
I don't know if I can find the avatar picture. Where is it? I know I just did it.
Julius is not letting this war leave my brain.
What
This
happened?
is Julius. See all these messages?
In your Instagram?
Yes. Every
About the
day,
war?
Julius sends me something that pisses me off. And I've been like, I'm not talking about this anymore. And then I'll make a video.
Mm.
He just sent me another thing. Like, bro, stop sending me stuff.
Dang, Julius is in it. And dude, you know what's crazy is I remember Julius being like, I don't really know much about the war. And now he's all about it. He's like, I really don't know much about Ukraine and whatever. And now he's all about it.
Cause man, it's not hard.
I'm trying to see. Damn, dude, Halloween is like Monday, Tuesday?
Is it? Have a good night. Excuse me. Hundreds of Jewish Americans calling for a ceasefire in Gaza have been arrested at the Grand Central Station. Wow.
Oh,
unfortunate.
Sorry.
Guys, we're going to talk about the First Amendment and how it's under attack on Monday. Because I really want to dedicate a show to that and really highlight Tuesday. I'm sorry. Judy corrected me. Tuesday.
Give us
I
like
really
a preview.
want to highlight. I'll give you a preview.
Okay.
This is a new piece of legislation that is being proposed in the state of Florida. The Florida Senate is coming up with the bill. Wait. Oh, it's already passed. Never mind. My bad. So these are bill summaries from 2019. It's HB 741, anti-Semitism. But this is already the bill that I discussed. I'm sorry. This bill, along with 269, is what's going to be used against a lot of Americans, mainly students and people employed at these education institutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
This bill provides that for purposes of the anti-Semitism provision, and the anti-Semitism includes a certain perception of Jewish people, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jewish people, rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism directed towards a person or his property or towards Jewish community institutions or religious facilities. The certain perception part is what really disturbed me, because now they are getting into what you can and cannot think, therefore what you can and cannot express. You talking to me? Oh, okay.
Did you
So
hear me
Tuesday-
or you just see my mouth moving?
No, I just saw your mouth moving.
Okay, no, I'm talking to Dave.
Okay. So I want to talk about how our First Amendment is really being snatched away, and a lot of people aren't really recognizing or paying attention because they're being emotionally led on this conflict between Hamas and Israel. Now, I'm also going to compare this to Black legislation.
Mm-hmm.
If we are going to go with this thought pattern, which is perception of a Jewish person that could signal hatred, then every white conservative that has ever talked about Black on Black crime or has placed an unrealistic stereotype on a Black person, when you say, oh, you're so articulate, you are participating what is anti-Black. I think if we switch the words anti-Semitism and put anti-Black there, we would see a completely different shift in a lot of Americans. More people would be on edge saying, well, how can you control my perception? What do you mean?
Mm,
If I have a certain perception of this person, then it's automatically deemed anti-Semitism.
right.
This is what they're doing. And a lot of people are just like, yeah, let's stop the hate speech. You
Mm,
shouldn't be pro Hamas. And I don't think I've heard one person that I've interacted with on the internet, including you, who
that was
was
pro.
taking no side, that was pro Hamas.
Right.
We've all been, this is a horrible war, and there's innocent Palestinians and innocent Israelis that are dying as a result of this. So
Mm.
be ready for that on Tuesday, because that is a huge red flag. Huge.
You posted a video of a guy, and I know we don't want to get too far into this because you're going to talk about it, but you had
Yeah.
posted a video of a guy, I think he was Israeli, and he was
Mhm.
like, he's like, you people who are talking about this that know nothing about what you're talking about. You know what video I'm talking about where you said interesting?
That's the leader of Hamas. That's his son.
Yeah. So that's exactly like what he was saying is valid. And again, this doesn't mean that I'm pro Hamas. I'm just saying what
Mhm.
he's saying is valid. And
Mhm.
this is like really what I'm saying is that like I understand where he's coming from when he says you don't know what this means or what we're fighting for over here because you're not here. And he said we will handle it
The way we handle it in the
the
Middle
way
East.
we handle it in the Middle East. And that was like the key word because that's the part that
Mhm.
people here don't understand what that means.
Yes.
And that's where we're like, oh God, the kids, oh
The
God, the
kids.
death, oh God, the destruction.
Exactly.
That's the Middle East way.
Yeah.
And we can't even contemplate that. But that's the Middle East way, and it's normal to them.
Mhm. That's
You
why he
know?
called out the West. The
Yeah,
media.
that's a good video.
That was a great video. And you know what? That video barely got any views.
Put it up here. Play it as a closer.
The videos that I did of me just calling out the left, 20,000 views, 15,000 views. I can get all the views in the world
You want me to
on
play it?
things that, yeah, go ahead, on things that don't truly matter. But this guy coming out and speaking, even the Israeli kids from 2013, I put that video up where they're expressing their thoughts on this. And what's crazy is I'm not there and I have the same opinions as they do.
Yeah.
Even the kids are like, you know what? You fight how you have to fight because we're all trying to live at the end of the day. But go ahead and play it.
Okay.
There are a bunch of movements coming forward in the West, angry in the streets, protesting. Some call themselves pro-Palestine. Some call themselves free Palestine. Others say end occupation. What occupation are you talking about? Do you mean end Israel and give Hamas what they want? Give Hamas weaponry, territory, soldiers, army, so they can mess more with the global security? Are you totally blind? How can't you see the things in common between the West and Israel? And how can't you see the violence and the brutality of Hamas movement? Or it's your hatred. You have nothing to do with Palestine. You're just projecting hatred and inflicting emotional pain on the Jewish people as they mourn a modern day Holocaust. Do you think this is how you help Palestine? There is no such a thing as Palestine. Palestine what? Yasser Arafat Palestine, PLO Palestine, PA Palestine, Hamas Palestine, Islamic Jihad Palestine. What Palestine are you protesting for? You have no idea what you're talking about. I am being emotional. I have the fucking right to be emotional because I speak on behalf of the children. As a Palestinian child, as a child of the land, I qualify to talk about the subject. But you have no idea what you're talking about. You never been there. You did not live the pain of that land. So what are you protesting against or about? What is your problem? Let me be clear. This war will go the way we want it to go. Your opinion doesn't matter. Even if you were a majority, you don't matter. Not in this war. It's not your business. You protest against your politicians in London, in Paris, everywhere, wherever you want. That's your business. But in the Middle East, we deal with business the Middle East style. The Middle East style. We are going after Hamas leaders, and we're going to kill all of them. And nobody can get in the way. Those are criminals.
Anyways, let me just say something really quick. That guy, off topic, to me, minus the popped collar, incredibly sexy. Okay,
Oh,
he
gosh.
is hot. Okay, he's incredibly hot. When he said, "We will handle it the Middle East way," I was like, "Oh Lord Jesus!" I was hot. Okay, woo.
I agree with
Sorry.
that. I agree with that. But what bothers me is the Americans who don't agree with that way of fighting, hopping on board with that way of fighting, and then saying the children matter, but ignoring the children on the opposite side. I have no problem with what he said.
I don't
Kill the
either.
Hamas leaders. Kill
Yeah.
them because they're a diabolical group. Go for it. They're actually oppressing their own people. I just posted an updated poll. The majority of those people there are not pleased with this government, and they have not had an election since 2006.
Right.
It's
These
been
people
a
are hot.
dictatorship.
They're hot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But tune in on Tuesday.
Listen, that was a powerful video. I was like captivated. Aside from the fact that I could listen to that guy talk all day, I was like all here for the fit. He had his collar popped, his aviators on. I mean, this is my kind of guy. Forget the fact that his father leads Hamas. I mean, or whatever. Who cares? Look at this. He's a good guy right here. He's probably a great provider. He may be a little hot under the collar. He may have 7, 10 other wives. Look at him.
17 other wives. No, you didn't.
He's
Maybe.
the Joe Biden of the Middle East. Okay, look at this.
Oh
Look at it.
my gosh.
Listen, look at his look. Okay, look at his look. Tell me he's not.
No, I will say he's closer to one of the Trumps. He looks like one of the Trump sons.
I just want to know what the whole fit. Like, can we just get the OOTD? Like the whole fit? Can we just see it? Outfit of the day, please. What's his name? What's his name? This guy.
Mossab Hassan Yusuf.
So his dad was the founder, but he's no longer with Hamas. His dad was just one of the founding members.
Oh,
correct?
got you.
Yeah, because I think
from what I understood, it just said son of Hamas founder. So yeah, I would assume that he's no longer there.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe that he's no longer part of Hamas. He was just one of the original founding members of Hamas. His father was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think he says what so many Americans have been saying, that we don't understand. We're only going off of the limited information. But most people, I think, with some sort of sanity on this, they're just calling out the propaganda around it. And I think that's a smart thing to do, because that would be continuing the journey that a lot of us so-called influencers set out on to begin with, which was to combat the narrative. To me, it doesn't matter that it's Israel. A narrative is a narrative.
Yeah. Listen, this is sound advice that can carry you through a lot of situations, not just this one. This is what he basically said for y'all that didn't catch it. Mind your fucking business.
Yep.
Look the other way. If what we're doing and how we're doing it bothers you, look the other way, because we gonna do it anyways. Okay. Ain't none of y'all gonna stop us. That's what he said.
Ain't none one of y'all gonna stop us.
Ain't none one of y'all gonna stop us.
I want you guys to be left with this quote from Thomas Jefferson. It's a quote that he said, and I think people should really read it and take in what I'm saying. Read it. Don't get up here and get in your feelings. I want you to read this. It is imperative that most people if not all, recognize what this entire conflict represents and who it benefits.
I'll read it out loud. Religious
Oh, you can read it? Okay.
institutions that use government power in support of themselves and force their views on the person of other faiths or of no faith undermine all our civil rights. Moreover, state support of an established religion tends to make the clergy unresponsive to their own people and leads to corruption within religion itself. Erecting the wall of separation between church and state, therefore, is absolutely essential in a free society.
Now, although I don't agree, I agree with erecting a wall between the church and state with the theory that he is talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But I do think that the church needs to be in mind when erecting these laws, because God is the supreme judge. He determines what is just and what is not. So I'm not calling for religions to be removed, because I think religion is essential.
Yes. And I believe our founding fathers used those beliefs.
I absolutely do as well. They may not have been called Christian in name, but they all recognize a creator and some sort of religion, whatever you want to call it.
On our dollar bill, it says, "In God we trust," period.
But he did call out institutions and religious institutions, aka Christian Zionists, that use these powers to manipulate, to generate income, to keep funding wars, and to keep America. He's a big one.
Yeah.
TD Jakes. All these people, they are using religion to push forth their immoral, perverse vision for what they want. It is going to end up being a one world religion. I'm telling you guys now. People like to talk about reading Revelation. That is what is predicted in Revelation.
Interesting. Okay. Well, next show, First Amendment.
It's going to be fun. Oops.
It's going to be fun.
I clicked off the outro. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good night. Happy.
They say the song's so offensive, but only if you get offended. I can't offend you without your permission, and you don't even have to listen. They say the song's so offensive.